Porsche 911 road trip Targa 4 GTS meets its analog ancestor. When my old friend, Rick Hallborg, decided to resurrect just about the worst 911 you can pick in smog-conscious California, it became our obsession. We planned on taking it on the Targa California, a classic car rally, and running around the abandoned gold mining towns in the Sierra Nevadas. It was also a welcome distraction from law school, to be sure. The 1976 911 Targa, though, had other ideas. The ruddy brown Porsche had been cursed with a suite of medieval emissions control devices, specifically the thermal reactors, to satisfy California's then new smog regulations. It caused the dissimilar metals inside its 2.7-liter flat six to fight with each other. Moreover, it hadn't run in years. But what do you expect for rusty Sentra money? Being a Porsche, the factory service manual assumed the car's previous owners had meticulously maintained it since new. The Bosch fuel injection system was so far out of whack we couldn't even baseline it. I was thankful for every mystifying minute of it, since being squirted with gas in the eye was preferable to reading any more about criminal procedure, and as a bonus we learned how to curse in German pretty well. We never got the 2.7 running. A forensic teardown much later turned up a warped case. The crank bearing journals were off-kilter, locking the crank tight. That work was well more than the thing was worth, so it became a fancy West German boat anchor. Rick found a guy getting rid of a 3.0 SC engine, a much better unit. We saw it run, and it ran great. After putting it in, it immediately pulled a couple head studs and puked 11 quarts of oil on the road. This is the life of the owner of a project Porsche. Years later, my friend had moved to Hawaii and back. I'd moved to Seattle, Detroit, and back to Seattle. Somehow he'd found the time to get it running properly. For a car I'd wrenched on for so long, having never driven it, the idea gnawed at me. Those road trips, those rallies we'd talked about, we could do 'em now. There had to be some good roads around Lake Tahoe, right? Considering I'd lived in Northern California for so long, I was surprised I didn't know. When Porsche offered me a brand new 911 Targa 4 GTS to test, the whole thing fell into place. I'd drive his car, finally, the first Porsche I'd ever worked on, but one of the last I've managed to get behind the wheel of, on the high roads of Alta California. And also, it'd be a good insight into how the 911, and the Targa specifically, have changed over the years. Consider the modern 911 Targa's wild folding top, a metal origami ballet of almost comical complexity. While putting it down reveals an open area between the windshield and the throwback stainless roll hoop, not much about the rest of it resembles the original. About that, Targa, actually an Italian word, means shield or plaque. Most famously, it's half of the famed Targa Florio's name. That race, which lent its name to Porsche's removable roof to memorialize a series of victories by Porsches, translates to something like Florio's trophy, and in fact, there was literally a metal plaque given to the winners instead of a cup, made of bronze. So it's fitting that the roof panel between the stainless-clad roll hoop and the soft rear window looks a bit like a medieval hide shield.